So after years of debating with myself on whether or not I should start a YouTube channel, I've decided to take the dive and actually start it. So I was in middle school when I had the thought of becoming a YouTuber, and I actually wanted to be a singer, which is very funny to think about because I'm not that great a singer, but I think if I had taken lessons, then I don't know, maybe I could have gone somewhere. But instead, I just dreamt about it and thought about it. But now, here I am. So I am thinking of making process videos for not all, but for the work that I do. So for personal projects, personal artwork, commissions, and any design work that I do. And so this is the first installment of all of that. And I'm also talking without a script, and I've been recording for the past 30 minutes, but I accidentally deleted one of them, which is embarrassing. And then 2, I just messed up, so I want to restart the whole thing. So for this piece, it's a mixed media piece because I'm a mixed media artist. And, that was another thing. Because I am a mixed media artist, my process from each piece varies. So I wanted to record like what I do and then have it be like a journal entry for me of what I should do, what worked and what didn't work. But what I found is that the media that I really like working with are paint. I really like oil paint, and then oil pastel, and then acrylic. Acrylic dries too fast for me. Then watercolor and gouache has to be at the very bottom because I don't like working with them. And for this piece, I would have liked to work on it in oil paint, but acrylic was fine. It dried fast and it was easy for me to layer. So this is the very first sketch of the idea that flashed into my mind that I sent my client, and then this was the more refined version that is on this canvas. It's the image that I traced onto the canvas. So for my process, I actually like to draw digitally because it is much easier to do edits that way than it is to do it traditionally, like with a pencil and an eraser. And then for the most part, it's easy to transfer onto the canvas because I can just project it from my laptop onto the canvas. And my idea changed from the very first image in my mind to this one because, so I have aphantasia, which basically means that I cannot see any imagery in my mind. I have no imagination. Basically, like when we were in school and your teacher says, close your eyes and imagine something, I couldn't see anything, and I thought that was normal, so I was confused why we'd ever do that activity. But sometimes I do get a flash of the final piece in my mind, and that is what I base my sketches on. But they're not accurate to what I saw in my mind, so I just have to work until I get to a point that I'm satisfied with it. So anyway, the original idea was my client wanted me to incorporate Jollibee in some way, but I didn't really want to do the mascot. So I was thinking maybe I should do the girl wearing a Jollibee inspired outfit. So I wanted her to have a jacket that was off the shoulder, that was red, and then wearing a white gown. But then I changed my mind and opted for a Maria Clara top. I didn't actually want it to be a blouse. I wanted it just to be the cape. But then I just turned it into the blouse. Also, I wish that I had a drill, or that I used a drill for when I made these holes. I thought the awl would be fine because I've done it before for bookmaking to make the holes for the binding, but I regret doing that. So next time, if I ever have to drill holes through panel canvas, I should use a drill with a tiny drill bit. And I also learned that in my mind, it seemed easier to force these yarn pieces into the holes, but it wasn't. So from this, I learned later on to use a bit of liquid glue and then twist the ends of the yarn to turn it into a point, like a hardened point, to make it easier to fit through the holes. I actually like how it turned out with the hair. It was a spontaneous idea. I mean, all my ideas are spontaneous, and then I just follow through with them, and if they don't work, then I find a different solution. But I liked the texture of the hair. I did want wavy, curly hair, so that was good. And I didn't know what else I wanted to do with the hair, because the other idea I had was to use cardstock, black cardstock, as the hair. But then that would have been too plain, I think. And I got this red paper from Walmart from the paint section because I didn't have any red cardstock. And I didn't want to paint my white cardstock because it wasn't the vibe that I wasn't going for. It wasn't the look. Also, I don't know what was wrong with me, but when I first cut out the heart, it was not, that's not a heart. I don't know what I was doing. And then I just glued it on. And you've probably noticed the skip in the piece with the background and the face. I was talking to my friends when I was working on that part, so I did not capture that on film. And for the text in the banner, my client suggested the word malaya, which means free. So I wrote that in baybayin, which is the old script system. And I wanted to incorporate some kind of beading on the blouse, so I just used regular white paint and brushed it on. And I didn't want it to be too overbearingly white because I didn't want it to take away from the piece. But even with the little bits of white, it doesn't really look like it's there. And I wanted the underneath of her hair to glow because I wanted her to be like ethereal. And also the title of this piece is called Binibini in the Jolli-Heart. And in my universe of things, I like to envision the Binibini as like a goddess, or as like an ethereal being. So I like drawing them in this way. I used nail polish again. I used nail polish for a previous piece and I liked how it looked. I wish I had something clear with sparkles, but I had pink. But I like pink, so that's fine. And I think I did 3 layers of sealant when I was working on this piece. And then for the final, this is the final that I did not use sealant on because I did not want the hair to become crunchy. I wanted it to be soft. And I wanted to stay away from using hot glue too, but it was unavoidable. And I also thought that the back was ugly with all the stuff sticking out on the back. So I covered it with black construction paper. If I had a big sticker sheet, that would have been better because the adhesive would have covered the entire thing. But I just used hot glue to glue all the edges down and some of the center. And it turned out well. It is lumpy, but at least it looks better. For the fabric, I used cheesecloth because I wanted something thin to show whatever was underneath. And the store did not have tulle, unfortunately. So this was the next best thing. And here is the final look. And some details. So thank you guys so much for watching my first YouTube video.